My name's Corey. I'm the executive director for the Campus Food Bank. So the Campus Food Bank is a independent not-for-profit at the University of Alberta. So as the executive director, I kind of run the organization, manage the other staff, and yeah, so we're just a general not-for-profit focused on student food insecurity. So ensuring students have access to safe, nutritious, and affordable food.
Mhm. And our international students are quite new to Canada. They are very new to Edmonton as well, and they might not necessarily understand what does food bank mean. Can you please explain to us?
Yeah, so a food bank is a really common kind of charity in North America and in Canada. Almost every community will have its own food bank, and so basically what it is it's a charity organization that takes donations of food. So typically non-perishable items, so things like canned food products like canned beans or canned tuna, or dry food products such as like instant noodles or rice or pasta. And so people in the community donate extra food that they purchase or don't need to the food bank in order to give to folks who maybe don't have access to enough food for themselves. Because they're experiencing poverty or something's happened in their life where they're not able to access or go out and buy these food items for themselves. Studies show around, I think it's like 12 or 14% of Canadian households experience food insecurity. And so food
Mhm,
insecurity means they don't have access to enough food for their household.
mhm.
We know on campuses, rates are higher. Some research shows up to 30 to 40% of students
30 to
experience.
40. Wow, 30 to
Yeah,
40. Mhm,
during over the course of their degree. So a
mhm,
lot can happen while you're a student. Maybe you think you have enough money for the semester. Things turn out to be more expensive than you expected, and
mhm,
you're not able to afford it. We see that
mhm,
with international students a lot. Just
mhm,
the food costs in Canada are very different than
mhm,
where countries where people may come from.
mhm,
As well, lots of things can happen. Maybe you're working part time to help afford things, and you suddenly lose your job.
mhm,
Maybe uh, parents can no longer or family members can no longer support you as much. Maybe you have unexpected expenses. You need to suddenly go back home for some reason, and plane tickets are expensive, so your budget is very different now. A lot can happen, and maybe you weren't prepared for these expenses. So we're there to kind of help if people are feeling pressure and maybe having a hard time affording groceries.
mhm. Okay, so imagine I am an international student. I go to school every day and then I realize my expenses are too high. I am really struggling to put some food on my table, or on my plate. So, what can I do?
So reaching out to us is a great first step.
Mhm,
We have a few different programs that we operate to support students with lower costs for food or supporting kind of directly by providing our food hampers.
mhm,
So if you're feeling like you're in this situation at all, you can just visit our website. It's campusfoodbank.com.
mhm,
Read about our programs on
mhm,
there, and you can
mhm,
sign up for an appointment to register.
mhm,
And once you have an appointment to register, that's one of the best areas. Is you'll sit down with one of our staff, and we can
mhm,
chat through your situation a little bit and
mhm,
see what maybe we can do to help.
mhm. I am too shy to go and visit you because maybe there is some stigma attached to the situation.
So lots of there is lots of sometimes stigma around accessing social services. Want to like just assure like our office is a very friendly, warm,
Mhm,
welcome environment. This is something we deal with a lot. Because maybe people aren't comfortable. So we try to be very private, discreet. One of the big things we always tell everybody is, and it's one of the reasons we are independent, so we'll never share your information with the university. We do have sometimes students are worried that maybe using a food bank would jeopardize past immigration, or they're not supposed to use a social service or something while they're here, and that's totally not the case, and we would never share any of that kind of stuff. So we aim to remain confidential and anonymous. As well, if you're really uncomfortable, send us an email and we can talk through and see maybe what we can do to kind of help that. Maybe you can come by in some off hours, or we can work something else out. But definitely always reach out to us rather than just not engaging.
I think this is very useful service that for some students that this can really change their lives, because they would be able to focus on studying and they don't necessarily have to worry about how to feed themselves. Now, let's say I am in this situation and I need to reach out to you. How often can I come for help?
So for our hamper program, maybe I'll explain a little bit more about how that works. So once you register as a client with us, all you really need is a valid One card. This basically, if you decide you need to use the food bank and you have a valid One card, that's what qualifies you for the service.
I see.
So once you're registered, you can receive a food hamper up to every 2 weeks. So how we describe it is, say you register as a client and you just use us once because you're really struggling just right now, that's totally fine. You can use us once and then we never have to hear from you again. If you need to use us every 2 weeks for a semester, because maybe that semester you lost your job and are really having a hard time funding your education, that's totally fine. If you need to use us for your whole degree, because that's what supports you through it, we're okay with that too. So it's really up to you. We just say the most you can use it every 2 weeks, but you should use it as you kind of need it to. There's a lot of stigma that's internalized for students. So say the example of living off of like Kraft Dinner or instant noodles and these things, and we all know these aren't healthy, but I think it's something that does tend to happen a lot with students anyways. It's something that really gets internalized, that this is okay, this is what being a student is. It's eating cheap, bad food. And it doesn't have to be that way. We do have other programs even beyond our hamper. So we have programs that like are more affordable groceries. We have a lot of ways for students to try, and we try to always find new ways for students to cut costs on food so that they can get nutritious, affordable food in their budget.
Excellent. I love that. I think knowing strategies and knowing maybe where to find the proper resources for the students is crucial. So thank you very much for doing that. And I believe students, when they see your face, they can see that you're a very friendly service, so they have nothing to be scared of and they can reach out if they need to.